Looking at the evolution, we could draw a comparison to something I think we all understand and know in this room. I'm not quite sure how many people are involved in management liability, but we can look to employment practices, EPLI. And I'm not asking you what your political preference is, and I'm not asking you anything about Democratic or Republican parties, but who remembers Clarence Thomas? Anybody? Show of hands here. Right. So I was a very young boy. I don't really remember, but nonetheless, we had Clarence Thomas and the Anita Hill trial, right? The Supreme Court trial, or hearings. It was with regards to sexual harassment. It was in the very early days, and if you look at the timeline, we're somewhere around 1992, which is exactly when this happened. And EPLI came really into the forefront with regards to sexual harassment, sexual discrimination, et cetera. It was all over the media. We watched it. We lived it. We breathed it. It was on CNN. It was in the news. We talked about it at work. We talked about it at home. The consequence was basically women were then thinking about it and started to file more suits against their employers. Early on, before good old Clarence Thomas, we had Title VII, 1964 Civil Rights Act. We had the Age Discrimination and Employment Act of 1967. We had the American with Disabilities Act in 1990. We now have Family with Medical Leave Act of 1993. Look at the correlation. We have California legislation 1386. We have the Privacy Act of 74, Computer Security Act of 87, HIPAA 96, and now we have high tech in 2009. So there is a correlation between how the EPLI risks evolved, looking at what it is we're talking about, cyber. What does that mean? There was an awareness. There was an education, and we all know that this is an educational process in speaking with our clients, and there was an understanding. Because of that, there was an explosion of claim activity. There was an explosion of development of coverage, of questions, of risks and exposures. Carriers exploded, and Betty's going to talk about that in a second. We do know from the previous panel there's about 17 primary carriers. If you take in some of the other carriers, about 20, 25, and I actually think it's beyond that. But it was also an explosion of opportunity, and I think we all live and breathe that every day. So